Candid interface को स्वागत। आज आम गहन अच्छी मिस्टर आर्ट बॉस सी हेले ग्लोबल डायरेक्टर ऑफ मास्टरपीस से 2 दिन तले नेदरलैंड्स रु भारत को आछंती आउ साथरे मोटे गोटे बढ़िया गोटे कैंडिड इंटरफेस करुच्ची आपन को निश्चित भाव में भल लगे। सो वेलकम मिस्टर बॉस टू आवर स्टूडियो एमबीसी स्टूडियो। वी आर वेरी हैप्पी टू हैव यू हियर। The first question to you will be very simple and everybody like it. That is, you will definitely appreciate as the global director of Masterpiece, what are the prime objectives of Masterpiece?
Masterpiece is a foundation, a global foundation, started in my country, in the Netherlands, in Western Europe. And our focus group is the youngsters, especially the vulnerable ones, to create a perspective, especially for the youngsters who lack perspectives.
Fine. Can you go a little deep into it and tell us what has been the recent programs like, you know, where you have attracted the youngsters?
Yeah, happy to do so. Almost to say a dream came true, because in 2011 we were founded, and now we are active in 45 countries with 60 licensed NGOs. All work with the youngsters, so they can learn from each other. And like in Colombia, we are working in 4 cities amidst the drugs cartels and the gangs, and using music, art and play to act for a better world. In Colombia it's called Onactua. Right. This is one of the great projects that we will replicate in Europe and also in India.
Great. One little thing you will definitely appreciate, which I would like to ask you is, you must have, as you very rightly said, mostly your focus is on the young. Now, the question is very simple again. What is your contribution? I mean, contribution of Masterpiece to world understanding and peace. Any specific examples you would like to tell to our audience?
Yeah, please. First to say that peace doesn't mean the absence of war, but the presence of freedom of speech, democratic values, equality to all, to leave no one behind, to have access to education. And for instance, this morning I visited some slums projects, and this is typically an example that the dropout children, which you all recognize in your country, but this is all over the world, step by step engage them, make them inspired to join education, to train them, like on digital literacy, to educate them. And I even met a young girl 1 hour ago. She was before a student, and now she's a teacher on digital literacy. So from dropout to a job. And that is an immense perspective. This is one single case, but this is replicated in 45 countries with hundreds, thousands of youngsters. And so when you don't have a perspective, the lack of perspective, yeah, what can you cause then? That is conflict and maybe even wars.
In different countries, you know, you must be visiting them, talking to them, putting their thoughts into action. That also you must be very much doing it. Yeah. But what is the response in general? What is the response like? Like you just very rightly said, you know, a dropout has now become a digital teacher now. Yeah. Any other specific examples which you would like to tell us?
Well, I first want to compliment, let's say, teams like Views India, GRP, who are working in the district of Odisha, but all over, the change makers who dedicate their personal and professional life with, let's say, this is a 24 hours job. I always say I have the best job in the world, but it's also one of the toughest. So do society appreciate the work of, let's say, change makers? Not always. Not always appreciated, because maybe you have a university degree and you could make 10 times more money. Then there's peer pressure. There is also pressure from the ones who don't want change.
Right.
So don't underestimate the impact on change makers by the pressure of our society, maybe even by governments, by companies, but also by civil society. They put a lot of pressure on change makers.
Right, great. How do you identify the potential of the young? Because, you know, for example, you know, different, you know, students are there, young people are there, they have different talents, they have different, you know, potential. How do you specifically identify their talent and try to, you know, give a boost to that? How do you do that?
Well, the fundament is our vision of the Masterpiece Global, that there are 8 billion talents and not 8 billion issues.
Right.
So fundamentally, everyone is a talented person.
Okay.
Did you ever see a nasty baby?
Right.
I'm even a grandfather now.
Yeah.
Of course, my children are the most beautiful,
Right.
and yours, but we all recognize that.
Yeah.
But everyone has been given the talent. It is up to the person also, him or herself, how to use the talent. So the coin has two sides. You have been gifted with many talents. Maybe you don't know. So we help to recognize the talent that you have. But it's your decision of this young girl, of this young guy, to take the opportunity, to find the opportunity, and to design his own life.
Yeah.
That is not up to me or us.
Masterpiece, you know, it's mostly working like a facilitator,
Yeah.
a trainer, a motivator.
Yeah.
Is it so?
Yeah, and we identify what is really key in society now.
Okay.
So we are also innovative. Like 10 years ago, most of our teams started with digital, because without digital, it's very difficult to have, let's say, a very good job,
Right.
because digital is in almost all the jobs.
Right.
Now, and I know maybe I'm lacking a bit in Western Europe, in my home area, but climate will have an impact that is unprecedented. We ain't seen nothing yet, I'm afraid. So we started campaigns for climate change. And of course, a country like India is already hit, and always the vulnerable, they are double suffering.
Right.
Maybe they lose livelihood, they have to migrate. I think climate change will have climate migrants, so climate will have a face.
Right, right. We will be very happy if you tell us about your young days, childhood days, so that, you know, particularly the young, they'll be inspired. Oh my God, I was like that and I am today. You know, I'm sure they'll feel very happy about it. So why don't you tell about your, you know, when you were a young child, how you were feeling, what were you doing, and what, you know, I think that would be very nice on your part.
So 30 years ago. No, so I'm now 64, so my young days go way back, maybe 60, 50 years. I was an innocent boy. I could study quite well, but my interest was in soccer.
Okay.
So when I was 12, I didn't choose the highest potential education, which I could, but soccer was to me more important.
Right.
So that is, I grew up between the farmers in nature.
Okay.
And that also determined, I think, my respect for nature and the understanding of the power of nature. But an innocent guy who preferred to play soccer just to play with my friends, my best friends,
Right.
and not to have the highest education ever or to have the best job ever. That
Like
was
for
my
example, yeah,
youngster.
Right. Now, for example, when we talk of nature,
Yeah.
what would be a line from your end about nature? To nurture nature, to take care of nature, what would be a line from your side?
Do you know a buffalo tree?
Yeah.
The buffalo tree is also in Africa, and there is a story. Why is the tree called a buffalo tree? Because the buffalo eats the leaves of the tree. And you know, the buffalo needs to eat at least 20 kilo of leaves per day. So when the buffalo starts with the first tree and he eats, then the tree would be empty, and his stomach is not full.
Yeah.
What did nature organize is that there is a forest of trees, of buffalo trees. And the buffalo has his horns,
Yeah.
and when he eats the leaves, he harasses a bit the branches. And when you take the next leaf, it's bitter. So first, the leaf is really tasty.
Yeah.
After, let's say, 10 minutes, it becomes sour,
Right.
not tasty. So the buffalo moves to the next tree. So what did nature organize? The buffalo has the horns. The trees change the fruit, the saps, into sour saps. So he has to move and not take all. So the line, my lesson learned, my line is, enough is enough.
Right.
To have the metaphor in our society,
Yeah.
there are 100 millions of poor people,
Yeah. Right.
maybe billion. The 1% of society owns 50% of society.
True. True.
Enough is enough, rich people. Share, and then you benefit in the end,
Right.
because it's not about the money. So nature tells enough is enough.
Right. Wonderful. So, for example, what you are today, who is your inspiration behind that?
She's sitting on that couch.
Yeah, she's very much there.
Yeah.
She's very much there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm talking of your, during your formative days when you are an adolescent, you know, who was the real, who really pushed you up?
Well, I always say in my business career, because I was a quite successful businessman in the end, I had 3 fathers, business fathers, mentors. And it can be just one line that you remember and you should, that nudges me. So I took my own journey. But every day you meet a person that nudges you, maybe a next step extra or another step. So it's sometimes in simple lines.
So you have created benchmark for yourself.
Yeah.
That I'm here and in a short while or in a month or so I'll be there. And these benchmarks must have really helped you moving up the ladder.
Absolutely. Without putting the end goal too much strict, too detailed.
Right, right.
Once one of my mentors told, success is a moving target. So don't be too fixed on this success. It can be also there.
Right. Could you give us a brief profile of Netherlands? Because, though in India everybody knows about Netherlands, but you can just give a brief profile so that our audience will feel happy.
Yeah. So I first started with my pitch. Of course, we are one of the best playing soccer. I'm a soccer player, although these days we are not so good. We're selling flowers, everyone knows. I think the infrastructure, everyone has access to education, everyone. Also the ones who don't want, until you're 16. The pensions, let's say when you retire, are very good. Of course, we all complain, but to be honest, we have no right to complain.
Right.
So the facilities, the housing, all the streets are clean. So on solar energy, we are the first. On IT, we are very strong. So our knowledge, infrastructure, besides the flowers and the soccer, I think the economy is we are a very small country, only 17 million people.
Okay.
It's only 17.
Yeah.
There's nothing when I know your numbers. Nothing. But we are, let's say, in the top 20 of the
more or less you will be half of United States or something?
Yeah.
Half of United States, I think. Yeah, more or less. Yeah, more or less. Yeah. Another thing, which touches my mind and I thought I'll ask you is, what is unique to Netherlands, which you would like to tell us? Something very unique about Netherlands.
Well, I think the innovative capacity to turn a challenge into an opportunity.
Achha.
I'll give you an example. In 1953, we were flooded because the Netherlands is close to the sea, the North Sea. We were flooded. Many people died. And now, so we forgot to take preventive
measures.
Yeah. And now we sell dikes, water management. So we have a unique learning capacity to change a huge challenge into an innovative approach where we can make money. Dutch are very smart and not so social. We are always in it for the money.
Good. So you should now tell Indians how smart they should be.
Well, I met many Indians and they are equal to Netherlands.
Right, right. Good. Another thing, which I would like to ask you is, in general education, everybody knows,
Yeah.
but just can you touch upon a bit on the professional education in Netherlands, little about professional education, where, people mostly,
Yeah,
would like to
happy
move to
to
that
do.
domain.
So there is the public,
Yeah.
via the government until you're 18. Then university of or you take a job. The principle is generic, a lifelong learning.
Right.
So when you start a job, the learning starts also. So I will learn every day. So companies invest in their employees, in the future of their business. It's very important. I think they dedicate 1,000 or 2,000 euro per year per employee to take courses, because when you don't grow, you have a standstill, and not a standstill, you go behind.
Right.
You
right.
fall behind.
Right.
So continuous investment in training and education and in global exchange.
That's a global
I think,
exchange also. Okay.
I forgot to mention, I think because we are so small country, we are all over the world, because we don't have the resources enough, but we want to export. So let's say the international view and the DNA, everyone in the Holland speaks
Right.
English and a bit German, so we are open-minded.
Yeah, right. Another little thing I would like to ask you is, since you are in India for the past, say, about 3-4 days,
Yeah.
what has been your experience in India, which you would like to share with us? Any good experience,
Yeah.
bad experience, whatever it is?
Start with the bed. Well, I've been 2 times before,
Yeah.
because we received in Mumbai an NGO Leadership Award. So I was at that ceremony, and Indians are very proud on their country. So the summit started with the national anthem,
Wonderful.
and everyone was really proud. That is what we miss in the Netherlands.
Right, right, right.
This morning I joined with my friend Dr. Manu from GRP, the Laughter Club. Do you know what the Laughter Club is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so the combination of the physical element of yoga, of philosophy, Hindi, Hinduism, I don't know how to
Right.
name that, and the fun and the community building, that was impressive. And
Wonderful.
yesterday we visited a city gardening project.
Very
Of course, greening cities is
wonderful,
key,
wonderful.
but the community, I didn't expect, to be honest,
Oh,
that the community feeling was so strong.
Wonderful. Now, one little thing which I'm sure you will appreciate if I ask you, what are your plans and programs for Masterpiece globally and specifically about India, since you are now in India?
Yeah. So
Future plans and programs.
on one hand, I don't believe in quantity,
Okay.
because they are numbers,
Yeah,
but I think we can triple in 5 years.
yeah, right, right.
In let's say 100 teams in 50 countries.
Wonderful.
Of course, India is huge.
Okay.
We now have 6 licensed NGO that work together under the with the umbrella of Masterpiece, powered by Masterpiece,
Right.
because they have their own branding. That's key for
Yeah,
me.
right, right.
And we have, let's say, 20 really impressive approaches to work with youngsters.
Very wonderful.
In our sector, there is so much reinventing wheels
Okay.
that they want to scale them and bring them to India. And that we co-create with maybe 5 or 10 more NGOs who become stronger. Like my friend Bhima, he's founder of Views India. When I met him 4 years ago, he had 10 employees, now 90.
Oh, great.
So it's not about more
So
teams.
things are appreciating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
appreciate.
and what is key is that we have scalable approaches. It sounds very business technical,
Yeah.
but it is with passion, because this sector is also
So we have come
always
to the
inventing.
fag end of our interface, and my last request would be, please share an inspirational message to our audience, particularly the young,
Okay.
very briefly.
So my vision is there are 8 billion talents You are one of those 8 billion talents. You are beautiful as you are right now. But this comes with an obligation, with a responsibility. Unleash that potential. Work with yourself, on yourself. Look for mentors, maybe your father, maybe your cousin, maybe the teacher. And design your own future. It's your responsibility, no one else.
Thank you so much. We had a wonderful time, Mr. Bos. It was very nice, having a little interface with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
बहुत धन्यवाद.